I'm out here today at Heritage Park. I'm on the north side of Willow Lake, next to the Granite Dells. And here's an odd place for me. I'm at a baseball field. So what am I doing out at a baseball field? Well, I'm going to be doing a little bit of work today, operating my drone and flying baseball field over here to my right, another one to my left, and then there's two more smaller ones behind me. So this is part of one of my personal projects that might develop into a work opportunity. So I thought I'd take the moment to bring you out here to the baseball field. And while we're out here, I wanted to talk to you about, so what am I using for gear, and how am I putting these together? Well, I'm filming right now on a Sony A5100. After doing a lot of research, I decided to go with that as my video post camera, vlog camera, whatever you want to call it. I've got my tiny little lav mic, and I'll put a link in the video to the lav mic. I think it was $13, and it connects up to my iPhone. Now today I've got my regular iPhone. I've also got an old retired one, but for some reason the battery drained out of it last night. So today I'm using the phone that I make my calls on and use as my personal hotspot. And yeah, normally I don't record with this phone, and we'll see how the audio quality comes out. So also I've got a Bogen Manfrotto tripod right in front of me. So there's all the gear for when I'm filming out here. Sometimes when I'm in the Granite Dells, I'll have a GoPro with me instead on a gimbal. But usually the audio recording on that's terrible, so I've got to have the lav mic. And if I forget the lav mic, and you see video where I'm clearly running around with a GoPro, but there's no sound, normally I've deleted the sound. So putting these videos together, I am a Final Cut Pro user. I also have Apple's Motion and compressor as well. And so the computer that I'm using, of course, is a Macintosh for editing all of these things. So, all right, now I'm going to start getting ready in a few minutes to do my flights here, and I'm gonna have a little fun with them too. I'm gonna do a 360 piano from one of these baseball fields, and I've got a huge flock of Canadian geese over here, so I'm not doing the drone quite yet. So first I'm gonna wait and see what the geese are up to, and definitely don't want any collisions. One other thing to note, so another item on my iPhone that I'm using out here is Google Earth, and we actually created an overlay from the FAA's grid map for the Ernest Love Field, KPRC, out here. And so I actually am making sure that I'm in a legal area as a Part 107 pilot, and as a guy who also has an authorization to fly in this area. So the area around here, I can fly up to 150 feet AGL. For those of you who aren't into drone stuff, that's just above ground level. So from 0 to 150, I can fly in here, and I'm going to actually make a model of both sets of baseball fields. But there is a lot of air traffic here, and I've had several planes flying around. You have to remember that Prescott is home to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. They've also got one out in Daytona, Florida as well. All right, I'm going to start setting up. So here we are in the Granite Dells. I've returned from doing some drone work over at Heritage Park, which is the north side of Willow Lake. I started talking about some of the gear, the A5100, the lav mic, and using my iPhone for the video pickup. And I also mentioned that I use a GoPro regularly when walking around out here in the Granite Dells to kind of smooth things out. But so, what's in the rest of the gear bag? Let's take a look, and literally first, the gear bag. So for doing the drone work and doing light work, light image work in the Granite Dells, I have an old crumpler case. I absolutely love these things, fondly refer to it as the diaper bag, because it doesn't really look like a camera bag. It does look a little more like a diaper bag or something. And so this is the Crumpler, let me see here, $6 million home. I bought this basically a decade ago. But this actually holds everything I need for the drone work and then some. So I'm going to set this down on the ground. and just start popping things out. So number one, super important, since I've got some pretty severe allergies, including bee sting allergies, and the bees are actually out and about here in February in Arizona. So number one, my EpiPen, must have. I've got EpiPens in almost every pack that I have in the Airstream and in the truck. Number two, chewable Benadryls. So here we go, we're getting that right off right off quickly. So then I've got an anchor cable. This is actually just an extended cable that I use for connecting the drone to my iPad. Then I have in the crumpler bag, we have an iPad holder. I can't even remember the name of this manufacturer. It's not the greatest, but I will include it in the links below. So then we have a small, tiny little carrying case. This little guy is actually for the drone controller. So right there you can see DJI controller. And I just recharged that after flying this morning and early afternoon. And I have a LiPo safe bag, which actually has one of my spare batteries for the Mavic Pro. And I've actually got 3 batteries in total, and I'm thinking about getting a 4th for the amount of flying that's been going on lately. Finally, in the crumpler bag, I've got a bigger case. This isn't really huge, but inside of this case is the Mavic Pro, of course. So nice, small form factor. Absolutely love the Mavic Pro because I can actually fit all of this gear into the crumpler bag very easily, and it's very easy to pack in and out, very easy to carry as well. Also in the front of the bag there's another little Velcro slot, and I actually keep my my FAA little green card for my commercial license, and then I also keep some other documents, including my authorization for flying closer to the Prescott Airport. And of course, I keep business cards in the bag as well. You wouldn't believe how many people will walk up and talk to me about what I'm doing when I'm flying, asking me if I'm legal, asking me if I'm a hobbyist, should I be here, shouldn't I be here. And so I always keep information along with me. Now, outside of the crumpler bag, I'm also carrying a Yaesu FT70D. I'm a ham radio operator, and this radio can also monitor multiple other bands, including air traffic control. So I use this for listening in if I'm close to the Prescott Airport, KPRC. We have this on in the background so that we know who's coming in where and where they're landing. Then we've got, I mentioned before, because I had the iPad holder, so got the iPad. Now, a lot of the applications that I used for the DJI Mavic Pro don't need an iPad, but we've been using Ground Station Pro a lot, and Ground Station Pro is iPad only, so it will not work on my iPhone, so I have to have the iPad along. Finally, in the little bag of tricks, we've got my little helipad. So blue on one side, orange on the other side. Just helps keep the drone safe when launching and landing, so that I'm not landing in the dirt. This is a desert state. There is a lot of dust, there is a lot of dirt, and I want to minimize the amount of that getting sucked into the drone by the cooling fans. So that's the whole kit. So basically everything for doing these video posts out here in Arizona and anywhere else. Really quick rundown: the A5100 that I'm filming on, an iPhone that I use an audio capture software with, my lav mic, then the whole drone case, an iPad, and this stuff is very convenient and small, which means it is absolutely the right size drone for living in an Airstream. And the whole kit together is pretty well sized, given the fact that I live in 200 square feet of space. So there's the whole gear rundown, and if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll include links at the bottom regarding all of these items, including the crumpler bag, because I don't see many of them anymore, and they are still for sale, and they're a pretty awesome bag. And for what I've been doing lately, I can fit just about everything I want. I can even put the Sony into the bag and still be able to close it. So I've got a camera that does video for me as well. I've got my drone, I've got spare batteries, I've got my controller, and I've got the iPad for controlling as well. And it all goes into a really small and tidy kit. So I hope that answers some questions. I've actually talked to a couple people in person recently who wanted the whole rundown on the gear. So other than not showing you the GoPro, you have seen the gear.